Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuning in today to Interactive Advocacy's Reclaiming Health Through Epigenetics and Foundational Wellness, where we take a deep dive into healing, transformation, and legacy. I'm your host, Dr. Tanya Glow Jones, thriving survivor and CEO of Interactive Advocacy, and a firm believer that healing isn't a luxury, it's a birthright. Today, I am honored to welcome a powerhouse guest, someone whose name is synonymous with holistic transformation, Dr. Dee Baer. Dr. Baer is a highly respected holistic nutritionist and has trained 1,200 government and Fortune 100 companies, along with 200 NCAA athletic institutions on peak performance. Dr. Baer is a best-selling author, a nationally ranked age group Olympic distance triathlon athlete, and has helped over 35,000 clients lose 1 million pounds in toxic weight. Her expertise in holistic wellness has made her a sought-after global impact speaker and a member of the prestigious organizations like NSA and the Les Brown Inner Circle Coaching. Her impact is truly global. Dr. Dee Baer, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, I'm just going to take you around. Tanya, I got your name. It's going to be, let's go with Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, what you got going on? Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Oh, I am so excited that you were here with me today.
Me too.
And, from the moment that we met, there was this spark, this connection. And I just was like, we have to do a deep dive into this conversation. I mean, everything that you were speaking holistically, was on par with where I am. And I'm so excited. So just to kind of give everyone a little bit of tea of what we're going to be talking about today,
Yes.
We're going to be doing a deep dive into a question that I thought, okay, this is it. What is the key to fulfill longevity? We'll talk about trauma, how to detox, the power of belief, and daily practices that can literally change how your genes behave.
Yes.
Again, Dr. Dee, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Who knew, as I'm seeing you be the MC of all at the Harvard Club for our UN, and you were just the MC mostess for our hostess, Princess Muradian Oglana, when we were there for Women's Health Month. And that's how, when she says collaboration is the new currency, or Les Brown, my mentor for all these years, 20 plus years, as he says, what we need in this world is a group of conscious, community-driven, servant, heart-centered leaders. And that's you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I always tell folks, it's not about competition, it's about collaboration. And this is a collaboration that I was really excited to come together on. And I just truly believe that everyone is going to be so excited about all of the things that we're going to share today and some of the things that we're working on in the near future. So I'm excited about that. But listen, let's get right into it. I want to kick things off with a simple question. What led you to devote your life to a foundational health and holistic wellness?
Well, doesn't everything go back? And it's a great question. Doesn't everything go back to your mama? She
Oh,
birthed you. And music was my talent, but health became my passion. Ever get that phone call just out of the blue? It was ring, ring, ring. Where was I? I was a young mother, 26 years old, a toddler, and a newborn. I get this phone call. Hey, mama, how you doing, mama? I'm not well, Jody. What's wrong, mama? Well, I came from the doctor. They say I have cancer. They've given me 6 weeks to live.
Mm.
This is that feeling I had. I dropped to my knees, rolled off the toilet paper until there was no more roll. And I jetted with those 2 babies back to my hometown in Montana. As Dr. Nefertina, queen that she is, says, when time meets destiny, That's how we met. And I knew that I had to do something for that mama who birthed me, that mama who got me out of being a halo, being paralyzed from the shoulders on down. That's another story in there. But you see, I went to the little Laurel, Montana library. Girl, that town is not like North Carolina. It's got one caution light. And in that library, I found the secret to foundational health through Edgar Casey's age-long works. Back in the 19, this was 1910 was when he read, I just blew off the dust. Oh, nobody reads that. And went and jetted up like I was sprinting like Usain Bolt to the front of that library. And in there, I was able to find the secrets to foundational treatments don't cure, they may or may not. The body put in the right condition will heal itself. But what happened in this, even in the advanced stages of cancer with my mama, it was giving her 2.5 years of life, well beyond her 6 weeks to live diagnosis. And Tanya, when she looked at me, when she was transitioning and graduating to heaven, she said, Jody, give others hope the way you've given it to me. And now they called me all of these years. I had one health coaching certification, no Ph.D., nothing. I was just wanted to be a young mom to help my babies. And Tanya, I helped my mother, and hope stands for to heal. Go down into yourself as we're going to do here. Go up in opportunity to your true north. Come in positivity to be the law of attraction, and then to empower yourself. That's another epigenetics
Right.
emotional word. Empower yourself, your community, and the world. That was a long answer, but it bears repeating.
And isn't that really, I mean, you said it, you hit it on the nose. I mean, it was really about just helping your mama,
Yeah.
helping your children, and then ultimately helping yourself.
Yes,
And
yes.
isn't that what we always do? You know, as mothers, it's like full circle. You know, mamas are helping their children, helping us, and then we turn around and then we're helping them. And
Yes.
um, and then it takes us on a journey when we're finding that we're not just helping us and our families, but we're also helping our bigger communities. You know, the people that we support and that we care for, and we find ourselves that community growing, helping one person after the other after the other. And
Yes.
so thank you so much for sharing that with us. So as we're helping, you know, that kind of takes us to health. You talked about at the time your mom was not in great health at that particular time. So let's talk about health. Let's talk about how we define foundational health and how does that support epigenetics and healing. Can you discuss that a little bit with us and share some, perhaps some lifestyles of DNA expression as it relates to root healing or daily rhythm?
Well, in daily rhythm, we have circadian rhythm, and you can see, ladies and gentlemen, there is so much to unpack here. That's why I'm so glad that before this broadcast, that we selected a date where we're going to have a workshop. This is just a little tip of the iceberg. Then we're going to go in, go in, go in. But I'm going to give y'all one clue, whether it's my 35,000 client patients, my 2,136 babies that were born because couples said they were infertile. I said, no, 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 no. We got this. And I know there are some folks running around. They were Mrs. and Mr. Mentu right now. Miss and Mr. Mentu. These little children now these parents are now grandparents, some of them. And how beautiful that is. Why? Because it all comes down to one thing. Even my mama, it's called parasites. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's everywhere because either these parasites are going to be one of two places. They're going to be either aliens in outer space or they're going to be in your body. You make a choice. And when you go to that foundational health place, the 1,000,000 pounds of toxic fat loss, that's why I only have had a 5% recidivism rate. I'm not Mrs. Houdini with this. That's where you foundationally go. When your parasites are out of your system, and then I say parasites out of sight. And then you go into that circadian rhythm of your body. You have 1 hour, 1 day, 7 days, 21 days, and we do it in that rhythm. You can read it about in my books. The first book, our anthology, when I decided to publish, you kind of decide to publish after you become a 36-time best-selling author. Who knew? Our Heavenly Father knew. I was giving people hope. These are health books, but I talk about parasites, that they talk about them in the Bible, in the Gospel of Luke. You see, people go ahead and do a parasite cleanse once. Oh, no, 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 no. It's a rhythm of 21 days, and then there's another rhythm, just like we have 5 seasons. Dr. Jody, I thought there were 4. No, no, no. There are 5 seasons. Indian summer sneaks in there between summer and fall. 5 cleanses, 5 flavors, 5 elements, and 5 seasons. And when you get that rhythm, you foundationally heal not only your body, but in all 6 pillars of health.
Wow. As I've been doing a deeper dive into epigenetics, one of the things that keeps coming up are parasites. I've heard it all, everything from social media to scholarly reviews, parasites, parasites, parasites. And I think that it all ties together. You have parasites, you have inflammation. Ultimately, that leads to people talking about autoimmune illnesses. I want to give our spectators and those individuals that are kind of watching what we're talking about today, let's take it back just a little bit.
Sure.
Let's go back to, as you've talked about, you've coached over 30,000 people. What are some of the patterns that you have seen your clients struggling with when it comes to chronic diseases or autoimmune illnesses? I understand the parasites, but let's take it back before we get to it. What do they actually understand?
Well, sometimes not a whole lot. And we have to start where that client patient is, and that's okay. If you don't even know how to spell epigenetics, because Tanya's really a smart woman and an accomplished woman and a great host. Okay, it's okay. But just remember that any kind of breakthrough, whether it's the 6 pillars of health, spiritual, mental, emotional, then you go to physical. Interesting. See, everybody wants to start with the weight loss, physical. No, 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 no. You start, where's your mindset? Where's your emotional set? Then you go to the physical. Then it usually flips back to spiritual, financial, and social. But the idea is this, Tanya. You go into that place that you realize that transformation of any kind, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, any of the 6 pillars, it's an inside job. So it's always going into, see, it makes sense to start with the physical nature because weight gain and obesity is truly, truly inflammation. Where does inflammation come from? Parasites. Where do parasites come from? Toxicity. The food we eat, the air we breathe, and the people we associate with. Those 3.
Oh
So,
my goodness. Yeah.
so you go with those 3. So which one? And then I have always done this. I've got my agenda, but how about the client's agenda? Which of these 3 do we start with you? So is it the food we eat, the air we breathe, or is it the people we associate? Because you have to, and you must do all 3. And then when you do that 3 trifecta, that three-peat, that triune in foundational health, you heal and you change your gene expression, just the way it works.
Wow. So basically, what I hear you saying is that there are patterns of disease,
Mhm, mhm.
right? And that these patterns ultimately will affect or impact your lifestyle. So you have to be able to understand what's causing them. So let's talk a little bit about that. We talked about the inflammation, autoimmune disease, epigenetics, the footprints. We're talking about this stuff, but let's give folks a better understanding of just a quick snapshot of how these 6 pillars of health and wealth that you're talking about, how do these influence our gene expressions and our vitality?
It's awareness. It's
Mhm.
truly awareness when you can accept yourself where you are and say, okay, I would just say more than anything, if you have a physical manifestation in your body, notice I didn't call it a disease
Right.
because that means that you're ill at ease. You're either ease or disease, one of the two. Okay. And it's that regeneration and that regenerative health is foundational health. You go ahead and you're either in a state of gratitude, Then it's joy. What's the next one? We go from joy to love to ecstasy. And passion is in there too. That's why you can't always stay in ecstasy, but you can stay in gratitude. Because the opposite of gratitude is what is it? It's people say, I'm so frustrated. Oops, no, ingratitude. That mental mindset. Rex Sykes, one of my great collaborative colleagues, says, celebrate everything. It's not what happens to you in life emotionally, because that's epigenetics. We're talking about emotional health. It's not what happens to you, it's how you respond. Am I frustrated? No, I choose to say in gratitude, celebrate everything. The result is frustration. Then it goes to what? Depression, anger turned inward. That affects your epigenetics. What's the next one? Anger. Okay, disease. And then it's death. There's some rage in there. Keeping yourself in gratitude is the biggest gene expression, because treatments may or may not work. I've already said that, Tanya, but regeneration always works. It begins with the mental mindset of gratitude. Then you can go into that emotion where you stay. I'm 100% passionate, which is great, but with measured emotions. Guess who said that, Tanya?
Who said
Helen
that?
Keller.
Oh,
I will not be captive to my emotions. She had every single reason to be ticked off, frustrated, angry. Come on. She couldn't see, she couldn't hear, she couldn't talk. And she said, I must live myself in 100% passion with controlled emotion so I am not held captive to them.
wow, wow, wow. That is so profound. And you don't think about those things until you've had some of these experiences. As a person that has experienced both childhood and adult trauma, and then also have dealt with chronic illness, which is a whole reason as to why I've started taking a deeper dive into epigenetics. I got to a place in my life where I realized that I could no longer allow those things that have infected me to affect me, right? Or to
Oh,
continue to
beautifully
affect me.
said.
And so I totally understand that it's about manifestation, it's about mindset. There are times when my family or even my doctors have said to me, do you know how sick you are? Twice in my life, my doctors have told my family, prepare because she's not going to be here by the end of the year. So get her affairs in orders.
Mm.
And everyone has their own school of thought and their beliefs, but I used to kind of make a joke about it, but very serious. Doctors run, their practices, but the man upstairs truly runs his business. And I would not allow how other folks felt about my illness or what's going on with me to affect my mindset. I always wanted to think about being healthier. I always envisioned myself, having a long life, here to support my children, doing the things that I enjoyed. And as long as I could see myself in those places, then it
Yes,
was like I've got to almost will myself or think myself
of course.
back to health. And
And
so
you
I
did.
think yeah, I think that that's why I'm here where I am today. Like if you would have saw me back in 2012, you would be like, that's not the same person. I mean, I had to go through pulmonary rehab just to learn how to breathe again. And so, being in that type of a space, the only thing that you can do is allow your mind in a positive way to will yourself back to health. So I truly do believe that it is about that emotional wellness that kind of keeps us moving forward. But not everyone understands what that really is. Not everyone understands what that looks like or even how to get there. So, can we talk about, or even the correlation between the stress of it? So, can we talk about what role does chronic stress and trauma play in your emotional and physical health when it relates to epigenetics? Can we talk about that a little bit and also some of the emotional residues or trauma imprint of that?
Because that trauma imprint and your story just totally just explained and shed light, like the spotlight that we have on this podcast. I'm looking at my lights right. You shed a spotlight on this because you didn't say my. This is really key. Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't say my pulmonary illness, my this, my that. Number one, choose not to own it. It is that situation. You will never hear me say anything but I had a situation with stage 4 melanoma. It was a situation. Guess what? Every situation has a solution. It's mindset. We hear this over and over. Napoleon Hill, Carnegie, all the old guys. All right. And I'm one of the old gals at 71, but I truly believe this. What the mind can believe, it can achieve. But you see, you got to believe this, and then you can achieve this. So going into and even thinking about inflammation, thinking about my epigenetics, start where you are. And I'm going to give you a simple key. Like, Joe D, we had to talk all this time to get to this. I said, yes, because I'm Dr. Jody and it's Dr. Tanya, and we're going to make you glow with the 10 rituals to rock your day. Even if you do something as simple as say, I'm going to squeeze 2 lemons, organic lemons. I'm going to put it in a glass of water with coconut water, put it by my bedside. Now, if you got doggies, make sure you put a top on it. You say, lemon water, yes. And we're going to get into this on our webinar and why these 10 rituals. And we say 10, too much. Fine. Begin where you are. Take that one step. Drink that coconut water with lemon in the morning because that acidic lemon turns alkaline. It turns alkaline overnight. So you're alkalinizing your body and being in that pH level of level 7.5, that's neutral. You got to get to at least to 8. And I'm going to give an example of this because my husband recently passed. I don't know why I did this because I do it every day, maybe, but I went ahead and did my pH strip when I was in the restroom the day after he died. I was just one step above distilled water. Come on. Why? Because of the stress. My body looked like I'm a not big person. My body looked like I was, goodness, probably 20 pounds overweight, but the scales say the same. Why? Because of the stress. When people say it's just stress, oh, no, no, no. Stress is the number one cause of all disease. Stress causes inflammation. And that stress that I had watching the love of my life go past made me 4.2 on a distilled water. I said, I got work to do. I can change this. See, it went to mindset. I can change this with your help, Heavenly Father. I can change this. Went back to the spiritual pillar. And here I am today, 8.5. And it took about, interestingly enough, yes, I am going to plug this book. Thank you very much. Book from my PhD dissertation, The 21 Days to Your Best You. That is the circadian rhythm of 21 days. It's just not women that have a cycle, men do too. And it took me 21 days to renew, to get that to 8 level again. It works when you do.
I love it. I love it. And I can't wait until we talk more about the 21 days at the webinar. So, if you want to learn more, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that. And I'm going to tap back or circle back to the lemon water and
Yeah.
coconut. My mom, Dr. Mom, she has just been so instrumental in my life. And one of the things that she talks about for vitality, for health, is that lemon water in the morning, first thing. When I tell you I'm so plugged into that, if I don't have my lemon water in the morning, that room temperature or that warm lemon water every morning, adding a little bit of coconut water into it, I just feel like I'm a little off. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that because it's those
Thank you,
little
Dr.
things
Mom.
that people, yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Mom. And it's those small things that people don't realize how big they are and how much impact they have on your wellness. So we have so much more to talk about. What I want to do is take a quick commercial break for you, and we'll be back in just a few moments. I can't wait to get into trauma and detoxification. So we'll see you all just back here in a few moments. Thank you so much. Welcome to Interactive Advocacy, where we believe in the transformative power of art and creative expression. Our mission is simple: ignite change, redefine training, and empower all. We don't just deliver training, we create experiences. We elevate the dialogue on violence prevention through art, live stage performances, film, and creative expression. Our unrivaled storytelling and captivating engagement immerse participants in an unforgettable journey. Our method goes beyond traditional training. It's about sparking conversation, fostering empathy, and empowering individuals to take action now. And by harnessing the power of art and storytelling, we create a space where everyone's voice is heard and valued. At Interactive Advocacy, we actively create transformation by engaging, empowering, and transforming individuals and communities proactively to prevent violence. We believe in the power of storytelling to drive change. Our approach challenges societal norms, reshapes perceptions, and builds a safer, more compassionate world. And together, we're turning this vision into reality, one story at a time. So join us in advancing the future of advocacy through art and storytelling. And together, we can create meaningful change and empower communities to thrive. Everyone, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm so excited to be here. Dr. Jody and I have just been having an amazing conversation. I cannot wait for you to join us on the 22nd of May for our webinar, where we're going to be talking about all of this amazing stuff, everything from emotional health, the 3 E's. We're going to get into it, throughout the shows, but you're going to want to stay tuned to hear more about what those 3 E's are. We're really excited about it. And look at Dr. Jody Baer. I just learned that this beautiful, amazing woman is in her 70s. There's no way that I would believe that. You are just gorgeous, my friend.
Well, 1954, that was Mickey Mantle's rookie year, and that was the year I was birthed into this world. And frankly, Tanya, I was a preemie because I was just ready to go.
Wow.
That,
Wow.
and it's ready, ready, ready. And coming back to the 10 rituals to rock you down, I want to make this is my tree of life glass. So if I poured water and I continued to pour water on this, would it eventually overflow? Yes. You can be positive, I'm positive, I'm positive, I'm positive. The mind does not, and the body does not know the difference between positive stress and negative stress. Come on, let me do that again. The body and the mind and the soul do not know the difference between positive stress and negative stress. That's why detoxification, it's not necessary unless you want to live an energetic, full of vitality, longevity kind of life. That's quality of life. That's what must be done because things have to be taken out so you can put in.
Mm.
And it's out and in. It's yin and yang. It goes like this. It's the rhythm of life, those circadian rhythms. So start with that lemon water. That was Dr. Mom. Dr. Mama said.
Dr. Mom, thank you again, Dr. Mom. She said it. She said it, right? So, okay, so we're talking about trauma and detoxification. So, and I liked, kind of what you were talking about, what goes in and what goes out. So, as we're talking about, the things that come in and go out, how does unresolved trauma, or those things that don't go out, leave a biological imprint on your body?
I'm going to come back to this glass because
Mm.
you keep putting in and putting in and putting in, and it will spill over into something. I'm going to give you an example, foundational example. Why do we do a gallbladder cleanse after the parasite cleanse? First of all, you get the parasites out. Then you do the gallbladder because that people talk about the gut, the gut. See, I am a holistic practitioner, not a halflistic. I'm
Ooh.
not halflistic.
Say that
Not
one more time. Say that one more time. I like that.
I am a holistic practitioner, not halflistic, because I have total respect. for my colleagues who just symptomatically address with homeopathic and natural remedies the symptoms. No, foundationally, you go in, take it out, and then rebuild. You go to the gallbladder because the bile duct has got to be like the river. It's got to be like the quantum river in your body flowing and really doing its magic, or the trauma is going to stick. You're going to remember that emotional because we are emotional creatures. We just are. We have these emotions. Denying them doesn't work. Stuffing them doesn't work. Do you know how many times somebody would come into my office and say, well, my anger, I just put it behind me. Guess what they had? They had back problems. Or they would say, I want to breathe through this life. They had lung issues. If they said, that person in my life, and it's usually somebody really close, I sit there and I'm just with my anger. They had hemorrhoids.
Wow.
Just saying. And I don't make light of that. But when you can diagnosis, if you have those things, ladies and gentlemen, is not your prognosis, as Les Brown says. You didn't believe that you had that pulmonary rehab. It was that thing you had to go through that situation. Know that that's outside of you, and you have the power to change that situation because you have the power in your life. And it's as simple as starting with gratitude. It's as simple as Dr. Mom said, lemon water, to get up and make that grateful statement about celebrating everything mentally. Let me tell you something. When you've been in a surgical halo for 6 months, as I did when I was 24 years old, paralyzed from the shoulders on down, do
Mm.
you think I get up in the morning and I say, oh, it's just another day? I am 71 years old. It's never changed. I get up in the morning, I put my feet on the ground. I said, hallelujah, I can feel my feet. And then I go. I go to this autonomic nervous system walk. Thank you, Dr. Jim Marinakis, for mentoring me these 2.5 decades. Then I do a shower. Doesn't anybody shower? The only time you don't shower is if you're on a Zoom like this and you can't smell me. You better. Okay? You just better. And what do you do with this shower? And I'll end with this because you got to come on the 22nd. I said the date because I guess I was thinking everything is like 21 days to your best you. It is the 22nd, 10 a.m. to 11:30, but I'm going to give you the last one. Do your shower, and at the end, put hot and cold. And if you're doing your hair, ladies, make sure you stay at your occipital bone. Men have got a kind of a edge on this because they can do it from the top of their head down their soul. Now you don't have to make it freezing cold. We're getting into spring, but just at least do hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. What will that do? It will align your spinal column and remove inflammation. Inflammation is the number one cause of all disease. And then you are that miracle making body to then start to deprogram and reprogram yourself with your epigenetics.
Wow. So what I hear you saying, deprogram, is reversal, right?
Yes.
That means that if we understand the things that we are putting into our body that is not healthy for us, putting into our mindset, like you talked about back pain and hemorrhoids and all of these things being associated to stress or even trauma, which
And
is
emotional
exactly what
illness.
epigenetics is, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what I hear you saying is that we can reverse it. So let's
Yes.
talk a little bit about what that reversal could actually look like. And we don't have to do a deep dive. You want to save some of this when they join us on the
22nd.
22nd. But give them a little snapshot of what that epigenetic reversal can actually look like.
What that epigenetic reversal looks like is calmness and
Mm,
peace
mm.
and alignment.
I love
Because
it.
you just flow. I have a saying in our Essence of a Woman book that, yes, guess what this one did, Tanya? All I'm saying is that we ended up selling out on Amazon in 3 hours. There was so much inventory that went out that they didn't catch up for 2 weeks. It was crazy. My quote in this book, immerse yourself in the flow of who you are and how you are becoming. That's that celebrate everything. Just be in that flow. And, it's kind of like, I think you're kind of like, I would say, remember Flo Jo when she was a sprinter?
Mm,
Way back in the day. Well, you're just flow go. Flow Glow.
Glow,
We're gonna
glow.
Flow Glow Jones. Oh, yeah, then that's our little twister. But starts with these rituals. Start and begin where you are. And say, I do have the power to change me, my destiny, and my life. Number one. Number two is meditation. And all I'm saying is, and we'll leave it for the 22nd, the double twos, when you can do meditation, 10 minutes of meditation is like 2 hours of extra sleep.
Mm,
That's what I'm talking about. And if you just sit, as my grandson, when he was 3 years old, I would say, Daniel, why are you sitting in the corner? And he said, well, sometimes I just like to be still at 3 years old. I like
mm,
to be still and be with my thoughts. He already knew. He already knew. Be still and breathe. Magic will happen because in that meditation is transformation, which will go into that genetic expression.
mm. Wow. I mean, I love it. I love it and I'm here for it. You know, I'm so excited about all of this stuff that we're talking about today and I really hope that you all join us, you know, back here again as Dr. Baer was saying on the 22nd because you're not going to want to miss, you know, some more of these tools to put in your toolkit as we're journeying to emotional wellness, right? And long-term wellness because it's critical, you know, and people don't realize just how critical cleansing our body, our mind is as it relates to long-term wellness. Let's circle back real quick and talk about that just a bit. Why is it important for us to want to ensure that parasite cleansing is so critical? Why is that important? I mean, we get an understanding, but you know, people really they really don't know, you know, and we see parasites in so many of the foods that we eat. And I don't know if it's just become the norm, you know, it's like I can just rinse this stuff off and it'll go away. But I
Yeah.
don't think people realize the gut brain connection and the hidden inflammation in our body. You know, it's so important for us to have this immune resilience. Just a snapshot of it, why it's important for us to cleanse our body of parasites.
I'm going to give a word picture and why this is so important. You know what happens to me when I get in something and I know it in my knower? My nose starts itching. I'll see it happened. My nose started itching. Couldn't beware. I know we're on your podcast, but I had to itch my nose. If you've been down south, have you ever seen kudzu? Kudzu grows at such a rapid rate. It's a weed that they brought in from South America and has covered the South. Okay? Parasites are like kudzu. And what happens, this is truly disgusting. Please watch this before you eat lunch, okay? Because parasites, what they do is the last thing they do, Tanya, when they leave your body, guess what they do? They lay eggs.
Mm,
Oh, like that scripture verse I said in Luke. It's like, okay, Legion went in there. So you think you do it once for life? No, they lay eggs, so it's even more unless you stay on top of it. It is critical. Go to Nat Geo. Go to Nat Geo on YouTube. You type in parasites. You can even misspell it. I remember 40 years ago when I was privileged to manifest Dr. Hulda Clark, iconic woman in natural medicine, to mentor me at 26. And she said, parasites will be in the next century after I'm gone, the leading cause of all disease. And she was right. She said this in 1983. She was unfortunately right because I'm going to come back to my grandchildren. My grandchildren that are in their 20s, they probably had 1/10 of the parasites that my 15-year-old grandson has, that my 11-year-old granddaughter has quadruple the parasites of her brother. So it doubled in 10 years, it's quadrupled in 5. So it's a as you said it in your amazing preparation, I will say undoubtedly you're the best host I've ever had.
mm.
Listen, you listen with your heart. And I've done one or two of these podcasts. I just want to say you are an interaction, just an advocacy flow glow Jones. You are. So
You.
stay in that is stay in that non-negotiable thing. That is non-negotiable. Why? Because you're worth it and you deserve it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. I mean, but you know, talking about this stuff is so important to me. It
Yes.
truly is. And it's not just because I'm an advocate, but also because, of my own personal experiences. And I was absolutely determined to figure out a way to heal. I'm still on that journey. I'm a forever learner. And I don't think that this is a one and done type of
No,
thing. I mean,
no.
these are things that you have to do continuously,
Yes.
if you want to stay well, if you want to have the right mindset. I mean, we have to be forever
Yes.
learners when it comes to our wellness. And we have to champion and advocate for ourselves first, right? And if you're not walking the talk and doing exactly what you're championing for others to do, it's going to show. I mean, it comes out in your face, it comes out in your weight, it comes out in everything that you do.
Everything.
So, yeah, so we have to be able to continue, with some of these simple practices. So that kind of leads me to, my next question
Oh, but you know what?
that you can share with
I'm
our
going to
audience.
interrupt. I'm
Yes,
so going to interrupt you. I'm going to
please
interrupt.
do.
I am going to interrupt. I'm going to do the host guest thing. I'm going to pull in this. You know why? Because you see the key, ladies and gentlemen, you figured out you were worth it. You figured out that you had to step back. You figured out that you, as I say in my saying, when you take care of you and your world first, the world around you is empowered forever. That is emotional health. That's epigenetics. That is everything. So when you decide that, make a decision today that you are worth it. Tanya did, even though she was going through this thing with pulmonary thing. I made a decision when I was in this halo that this one, the hospital, it was a hotel. Okay, I'm walking out of this. I would ended up running 2 years later. Who knew? Because I said I was worth it. Because you can live a long life, but how about a long and vital and, totally fulfilled life in all six pillars? So you made that choice. And so now I'm going to rest my case because I know my place, Miss Dr. Tanya.
No, no, but thank you so much for sharing that. We need these reminders. We need to have these conversations. I'm super excited that we're having this morning because there are so many people, men, women, there's so many individuals that are suffering in silence and they don't know what to do. There's like information overload. And today we are truly privileged and honored, to have an expert joining us this afternoon or today that we can kind of talk about this. So if you could give, our viewers just one simple detox practice that they could do today, one thing, what would it be?
Go to Amazon,
Hmm.
get some Wormwood Complete. And I'm going to say, I'm running, yes, I don't do individual parasite cleanses anymore. I'm way too busy. But I am going to be having a class in June because I've had so many people wait. Just let's do it. It's reasonable, it's economical. It starts with parasites. But you've got to do this isn't like going to the vitamin shop or to Vitamin Cottage or to something else like GNC. It must be done the correct way or you can run into trouble. So parasites are key. But even more than that, since we're talking about emotional wellness, epigenetics, I'm going to tell you the next time you take a shower, and that's ladies, doesn't matter if you're a size 6 or 26. You come out of that shower, men, you flex it and you flex those muscles. Ladies, cellulite and everything else, you celebrate you in the mirror, full length mirror. And you go from top to bottom. When I was with and had the amazing opportunity with Dr. Bernie Siegel, MD, who before he passed was the anchor author of Healthopedia, our first anthology, putting the puzzle pieces together, foundational health. And he said, I had women that cured themselves from cancer, breast cancer. And personally, I'm grateful to say I've never lost a breast in any of my client patients. Never, ever, ever. But what they did is in their meditation, they started celebrating from head to toe. Don't go ahead and think, oh, I've got to wait for the meditation. Next, guess what? Our next is our now. Do it now. Now, spelled backwards, is one. Go to the mirror. Celebrate yourself from tip to toe. I guarantee you, you will start laughing at yourself when you get to those little bumps of cellulite and the little wrinkles here and the little here that, and you will fall in love with you. That's where it begins.
I love that. I love that. I am a person that believes in affirmations and self talk and definitely celebrating myself. But I love the thought of from head to toe celebration, looking in the mirror and literally just saying from the hair on my head to the toenails on my feet,
And don't you
celebrate
skip a part.
everything from head to toe. And I haven't done that. And so I actually looked away for a second to write that down because I'm going to do that today, because again, it's that mindset, right?
Oh,
And if we start pouring all of those positive, energy into our mindset consistently, that's epigenetics. That is the reversal of some of the chronic illness that we're seeing in our body. Don't own it. Don't claim it, but claim those positive things. I liked how you said that your brain doesn't recognize those negative things or those positive things in terms of stress, right? So if I'm going to give my body stress, let it be healthy, good stress.
yes.
Let it be that. And so I'm looking forward today to actually going and looking in my mirror and starting from head to toe as I unwrap and start just all of those positive affirmations and self-talk and celebrating myself with gratitude. I love that. I love it.
Oh, and what you think when you go at the dinner table with your significant other, your spouse, they said, well, what did you learn today? I always did this with my son. So what is the one thing you learned today? I said, well, I'm going to share what the one thing I learned today is I heard this woman, Dr. Jody said, I'm just going to go get naked. What's that going to do for your social life and your relationship, your marriage? Oh my goodness, you just learned how to get naked today and celebrate it.
I love it. I love it. And we have to celebrate it. Celebrate everything. Celebrate all those good things. We have to celebrate it. And again, it goes back to just being a true champion and an advocate for you. If you don't do it for you, then how are you going to get other folks to do it for you? And so I would charge each of you to not wait on someone else, but definitely, as Dr. Jody has shared with us today, you want to definitely champion for yourself and be in a place of gratitude and celebrate you every day, starting today. You heard it here first. Celebrate you today.
Beautiful, beautiful,
I
beautiful.
love it. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about, as we're celebrating, let's go and give some more tools for resiliency. When I think about some of the things that I have to do every day, like these are like non-negotiable things. One of them being, as I shared earlier, even though my mom still tells me every other day, and I do this every day, and I've been doing it for quite a few years now to drink my lemon water. It's one of my non-negotiables, right? So let's talk about what your top three non-negotiables are for building resilience and health.
Lemon water. Dr. Mom said that. I get up, my autonomic nervous system walk.
Mm.
Right now, I'm getting through a situation where I broke a bone in fifth metatarsal on my foot. So I'm being able to get back into this autonomic nervous system walk. There's a real key. We will give the keys to this on the 22nd. It's a non-negotiable. You don't think, well, but I walk. You don't walk like this. I have seen countless people. Dr. Jim Marinakis, I already mentioned him, was the Olympic team physician in 1984 in Sarajevo, just an example. And our bobsled team was really beat up. He put that team back together with his autonomic nervous system walk. He found it through the Department of Defense. You're ex-military. You probably been even around it. They teach it in basic training. And what this is how you reprogram. Do you ever just hit a restart or defrag your computer? That's what it does to your system. I'm now am a month ahead of time that I should be on the timeline with this fracture. My orthopedic surgeon just said, "Oh, that's right. You're the vitamin lady." See, it doesn't matter. And you know what I did about the age thing? I just got to say, this is so funny because you know how doctors, they'll pick this up and they'll sit there and they'll look at your chart and then they'll look at you and they look at your chart. I said, "Doctor, in all due respect, just why don't you say it? You already saw the birthday. It's 1954." And we had the biggest chuckle about this. I was able to share with him, like with trauma, which it's the same situation. If you've had emotional trauma, if you've had something that when time meets destiny and you just out of the blue, for instance, in any pillar of your life, if you look at just nutrition, this is non-negotiable. You look at the situation with trauma, it's nutrition. Then you go into inflammation, it's nutrition. Then you go into the pain, physical, emotional pain, it's nutrition. With emotional pain, it's meditation. And then you do restoration. Those are the non-negotiables, but they come back to Chinese traditional medicine. It's 6,000 years old. Western medicine, 100. Okay, just saying. Detoxification, tonification, and strengthening. Those three things, non-negotiable.
Dr. Jody, you are giving us life lessons today, and I'm telling you, you are gonna want to turn in for this full conversation. If you haven't done so already, do like I did, put a star by it. Anamodic nervous system walk. You want to know more about this. I mean, these are life lessons that we're getting today. She's given us so much tea. I don't know what to do. You're going to want to understand or do a deep dive into Dr. Jody, into her books, Healthopedia 365. You're going to want to learn more about this and what she's talking about. Join us on the 22nd of next month, May. You're not going to want to miss this conversation. I'm telling you, I love it and I'm here for all of it. So we appreciate her non-negotiables. You heard them. Stay tuned because this is some amazing things and we've got to all find out what our non-negotiables are as we're building resilient health. So I love it. So we've talked about everything from tools for resilience to epigenetics to trauma, the whole correlation, inflammation, detox. But what we're really talking about to bring it all together is longevity.
Yes.
What is the key to fulfill longevity?
We only have a finite amount of energy. That ain't myself, you. So you must replenish it with these things, these 10 rituals. You must replenish it. When you drink water, it's going to be empty in that glass. Eventually, if I keep drinking this, it's going to be empty. So I have to fill it up with goodness, fill it up with those things that you need. Because then when you have that replenishment with energy, when I get clients and the client patients that I'm burned out, guess what, Tanya? They were burned out 6 months ago.
Mm.
Okay. We got to rebuild, then restore. But it is that thing. So the energy is there. When you have enough energy and you play that rhythm of your daily rituals, then you will have vitality. And when you have vitality, it transcends into longevity. What I'm saying at 71, I am living proof.
Mm.
I'm living proof. This isn't an act. It is me, Dr. Jody. Now, what am I going to do today? Around 4 o'clock, I'll go ahead and do my meditation. Then I'm ready for my evening. Am I going to work on my computer all the way to the end of the evening? No, because I must replenish myself. It is a lifestyle, becomes your life when you take in the life lessons that we're sharing here, that you share every single episode with your wonderful audience, Dr. Tanya. We have given you the keys to the kingdom. Now, just open your hand and receive.
I love it. We're giving you the keys, everyone. We are giving you the keys. Your lifestyle turns into life lessons.
Yes.
Okay, your lifestyle turns into life lessons, and we are giving you the key today. Dr. Jody is sharing so much, and she's giving you the key, and all you have to do is just unlock that door and walk through. It's
Yes.
here for you. You know, I just want to say that I appreciate you and all of the things that you're sharing with us today, Dr. Jody. If you could leave our audience with one empowering message, what would that be?
The empowering message I've already said, but if you want more after this deep dive, I will say I refer to my mentor, my guru, the world-renowned Dr. Jim Marinakis. We are doing Healthopedia 2. We did a retreat in Boca Raton, which after we created this company, who does a retreat after 4 months of creating a book? And that was a bestseller all over the place. And then, well, we did. I had no idea how it would turn out. There were almost 200 people in the room, 2.5 days. Go to my Instagram page, ladies and gentlemen, on Healthopedia 365, which is my smaller one. It's not the Health Coach Jody, but we have this little meme. Dr. Jim is 74. I've got him in a Speedo. I'm in a bikini. Tanya, it is funny. Okay. And guess what we did? We're running on the beach in Miami. And I said, if you want what we have, do what we do to get what we bought. Be in Boca. That full meme, it's almost not my content, not my erudite PhD. That crazy meme got over 100,000 views last time I checked.
Wow.
And but it's true. And what we just and I said to him because I manifested it. You said this, I am health, I am wellness. You chose not to believe the diagnosis was not your prognosis. All of the things that we've said, which is not one thing, forgive me, but I really want to tie this in to when I said to Dr. Jim, I said, do you see what we just did? And how these people are, they have been in this room and how they're being. I said, the next stop is Greece because he's Marinakis. I had forgotten I'd said this. Jamie Kerr, a wonderful ace couple. Jamie Kerr and Jennifer Kerr. He's in Healthopedia. She's in Essence of a Woman. Both are world-renowned speakers, and he's got the #1 podcast on mental health. You must have him on your show. All right. He absolutely said to me he couldn't come into Boca. That and because there was a family situation, he had to stay with his wife. And he put on WhatsApp, I think our next stop should be Greece.
Wow.
Did not know that he used to have before he and Jennifer married have this retreat center and it sold it hotel and resort and bar and everything 5-star included. I had no idea, but I spoke it into existence, had no clue. Watch that because your words are that key, ladies and gentlemen. Your words, then you push the door and walk through. Where are we going to be on September 29th to October 6th? We're going to be in Greece. And it
Wow.
is a retreat, renew, recreate in Crete. Why? Because we deserve that deep dive of 6 days rather than 2. Why? Because you deserve more than this wonderful hour that I've been able to spend with you, Tanya. So that's Tanya and Jody into all of the ease of emotional epigenetic wellness on the 22nd of May. Why? Because health is not something you do. It's how you become along life's journey. How
Ooh,
are you becoming?
I love it. I love it. And I am going to make sure that I share with all of our viewers where they're going to be able to join you at that retreat. I'll make sure that I put that information in the link in the comment sections below so you're not going to want to miss it if it's something that you think that you want to be a part of. And I know you will want to join Dr. Jody in Greece. I'm going to make sure that I put that information down in there in the chat in the comment section. So please be sure to stay tuned so you'll be able to be a part of that retreat experience. I'm looking forward to me being there as well. I'm really excited about that. And again, you're going to want to stay connected with everything that we're doing. May the 22nd, we're going to be doing our webinar. Our webinar on the 22nd of May, we're going to be talking about the 3 E's excellence, emotional wellness, and epigenetics. You're not going to want to miss this. The link will be below for every one of you to register. Dr. Jody, your wisdom is a gift. You have shown us that healing is not just possible, but it is encoded with us. And if you want to stay connected with Dr. Jody or get any one of her books, please feel free to check them out at www.drjody.com/books. But I'll make sure that I put that link down below for you as well. Stay tuned to all things interactive advocacy. And, as I tell all of you, I want each and every one of you to continue to glow with everything you do. And that's grow through adversity, lead with empathy, own your own story, and be a warrior for change. I am your host, Dr. Tanya Glow Jones, CEO and founder of Interactive Advocacy. And I just want to say, continue to glow. Talk to you soon and have a great day, everyone.